Hogstye.
Hello, and welcome to the Hogsty. Steve is doing his game signs again. I'm happy about that. I was asked about that, Steve, when I went to get my haircut this weekend. Mauricio was like, "You never mention if Steve's doing gang signs. Let me know." All right, Mauricio, he's doing the gang signs.
And believe me, they're actual real gang signs I learned from
Yes,
my background living in the hood.
right. Slinging Sammy Baugh. That is who Steve is portraying right now.
I don't think people
Dave's here to.
understand. So
Yes,
the deal is for the platform we use, I have to put a name in, and
right,
because Alex is the IT guy, he's logged in as me because I set
right,
this
because
up. And so
right,
I have to put a name
right,
in, and so I make up a name. That is where we get Genghis Khan, and
right.
what was I? I was
You
Ronald
went on a
Reagan
couple
once.
political rants for a
Yeah,
while. Yeah,
yeah. Now I'm Sammy Baugh
yeah.
today.
Right.
Guess people are
I
wondering
will. I will
that's what that's
applaud.
about.
You've never just written like profanity, straight profanity as a
I don't
name.
do that though. I don't talk
Right.
like that.
Right. Right. You don't.
My mother
Well,
would kill me if I talked like that.
right. If she
See,
didn't
Kobe,
know,
our fourth cast member, was upset me
Kobe's
even
mad about it.
saying that. Yeah.
Right.
Ugh.
Right. Well, normally we'll vamp about a lot of nonsense. Like last week's show when there was nothing to talk about. I
It
I,
was
I
a lot of
titled.
vamping.
I believe I titled the show "There's Nothing to Talk About."
Yeah,
That's
you
how
did.
quiet. This week we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of little topics we're
That
going to
doesn't
be
mean
go.
I'm not vamping for 15 minutes, Alex.
All right,
I'm
all
gonna
right,
blow
Well,
Steve.
your
What do you
thing.
want? Steve, what's going on in
well,
your world?
actually, right now, I just got done preventing myself from sneezing and everything. I got that random tickle in the eye and right
Oh
down through my
no.
nose. I was just like, ah,
No, we
Oh,
do have a
hate
lot to
that.
say, but I will say that if our fourth cast member speaks up, it's
right.
because the hoochie squirrel is in the front yard
The
and
hoochie
she's been there.
squirrel's back.
See, yeah, the hoochie squirrel is the squirrel that teases him. So
Right,
it must be a woman because it's a female because it's teasing him, and
right.
and so that's what he's barking at is the hoochie
Yes,
squirrel.
the hoochie squirrel is back. Hoochie squirrel went away for a little while, like hoochie squirrels do, and then they come back. They always come back.
Yeah, that's what's happening. And she comes back all the time and teases him, and then and then walks away,
Right.
and he can't
Yeah.
do anything about it.
They go, "You'll never get this. You'll never get this." But then he'll get
Yes,
out
that's
one day
exactly
and he
what she's
gets
doing.
it.
That is what she's doing. He's going to jump
uh,
through the window trying to get at her one of these days.
Dave gets the reference there.
I got it generally. I don't know what you're talking about,
It's
but
a Borat quote. Borat would be what that was from.
I'll take movies I've never seen for 1,000,
Oh,
Alex.
you should
of
see
course not.
Borat. That's a good movie. It's funny. All right. Borat 2, not so much, but Borat 1, classic. Um,
Oh, the
all right.
seconds
So
are never always that great.
they never are in comedies. It just doesn't work.
No.
Uh, let's start with not super sad news, but a little bit sad. Taylor Heineke officially retired from the NFL. I think we actually announced that even on last week's show. We know that. But he did something that usually only star players do when they've been journeymen or whatever. Heineke signed a 1 day deal to retire a Washington player instead of, I don't even remember what his last team was, Atlanta, I think.
I don't
Uh,
know.
yeah,
Only Taylor knows.
yes. But he
Yeah, I think so.
he had such fond memories of those couple years here in DC where he got that shot to be a player again. And let's be honest, fans have always embraced Taylor Heineke just for like that underdog story here in DC.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
first of all,
he wasn't a terrible player either. He had a weak
No,
arm going downfield, but he had a hard note. But the one thing that I will remember him most for, and one thing that I absolutely love him as a player for, is that Monday night game against the Eagles.
hmm
He closed out the game. He came through, looked like he was going to take a knee, but didn't actually come all the way down and wound up drawing a late hit.
right,
And came down to the very last second as a guy. I forget which defensive end was coming in on him, and it was a roughing the passer penalty, 15
right.
yards, first down. Game was over. Man, was my brothers livid on that. They were so mad. I was just like,
I don't remember
yes.
that play, but
You don't remember that?
look, no, but
Everyone remembers the playoff game, of course. That's the big one.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I like Taylor Heineke. He's a classic underdog story, basically.
Yeah.
And remember, our former cohort Robbie Duncan played with him,
Right.
Not Ole Miss.
ODU.
Thank
Old
you,
Dominion.
ODU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did Taylor have a great arm? No, but he was the hardest worker you're ever going to see.
Right.
I mean, our fourth cast member is very upset about the news.
Right. 200% pure gumption is what I would describe
Now,
Taylor
I'm
Heineke
assuming
as.
what Taylor's doing is preparing for his Hall of Fame induction, by retiring as a Washington player. It's the
Right.
only thing I can think of why he would
Right.
do this. But the truth is, what he probably just wants to associate with a franchise. I would
Right.
guess that's what it is. So, his career here started out with Houston, 17, went to the Panthers for a year and 18, stayed in Washington for 3 years, 20 to 22, then 23 Atlanta, and in 24 he was with the Chargers. 4 games,
Okay.
no starts, went 3 for 5, and he did not play last year, so now he's retired. And I think probably again, he probably just wants to be affiliated with a franchise. That'd be my guess. And who can blame him?
Oh, and this is the franchise for him to do that with, given that
Oh
this is where
yeah,
he had his most playing time. And like I said, I think the fans in DC really did embrace him because, well, what he was that ultimate underdog when DC was at its lowest point as a fan base. Let's be honest. It was the name change era. It was the Rivera nonsense. Uh, the constant final years of Dan Snyder's incompetence. Um, that's that's what Taylor was there for. He was here for like probably the darkest time in DC football history.
Well, also, I mean, look, I mean, the guy came literally off a couch.
Right.
Remember? I mean, he
Yep.
wasn't
Sister's
even playing
couch.
football. Yeah, he
Right.
was literally sleeping on a couch.
Right.
Um,
Going
you
to
know,
grad
he
school.
right, he was never supposed to be an NFL guy. It's like straight out of a Disney movie.
Right.
It,
Yes.
and I think people kind of relate to that, and everybody liked him. He was friendly. He wasn't a jerk. He always seemed to appreciate it. He gave one thing you could say is he gave max effort all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he retired. As a Washington player. I
I am
think that's
too.
cool, and maybe we'll see him hanging around the facility.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I just got done sending you guys the video that I played. I was talking about, and
Let's look at
the
what's
one
here.
thing, the one thing about Heineke though that also stand out with him is that whole Heineke hive that was just absolutely ridiculous among this fan base. I mean, it was just it was like he was the next coming of a shorter version of John Elway in football. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
I remember Robbie Duncan liked him a lot.
Yeah.
He was I enjoyed watching him play. But man, the way that some people were just fawning over the guy every week, I was just like, dude,
Well,
it's
yeah,
fun
I
to
mean,
watch him play, but wow.
I don't think anybody ever thought he was a future franchise quarterback, or at least if they did, they weren't being realistic because he never was a
No.
franchise. He
No.
was never that.
Right.
No. He was never a franchise guy. But at the same time, I think a lot of people would agree that they probably should have given him a shot to be the starter until they drafted that guy, rather than the Carson Wentz nonsense and all that. Like it just
If I
go with a
recall,
guy.
some of us said that.
Yes,
you know.
some of us loudly said that
Yeah.
multiple times. Yeah. Uh.
Well, I think when they went to commit with Sam Howell that year,
Mhm.
they really had to move on from Heineke because he had those core fans. If Howell
Yeah.
struggled at all, you know that the chance would come in loud and strong every game
Mhm.
if Howell struggled, and you're trying to potentially develop a guy you think could make it in Sam Howell, and you didn't want
Right.
that kind of distraction.
The
I
Sam
don't know
Howell
why
thing-
anybody ever thought Sam Howell could make it.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
never
but you have to
never
understand the
gonna make it.
coaching staff that thought that he might have. So you wanted to eliminate anything that could potentially derail something that we all kind of knew really wasn't going to happen.
Sure.
I mean, you're right in what you're saying, Dave. I'm just saying I think they were foolish ever thinking Sam Howell was
Yeah.
a franchise quarterback.
No,
He
I
never
agree.
was.
Right.
I don't
think
think he
most
was
of us
much better
did.
than Heineke, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he was at all better than Heineke.
No.
He had a bigger arm, but that was about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hal's now on his like fifth team too. He's bumming
Yeah,
around the
he's
league.
on his last legs for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's the NFL, man. A guy like Hal, who at one point everyone's saying was a first round pick, and that's what happens.
Look at
It's
Chase Daniels. The guy's made a career out of holding a clipboard and made more money than
right.
all of us will
Well,
make in
and
our lives combined.
let's be honest. Heineke's the same way. He made 15, $16 million probably on all his contracts doing this. Good for him, you know.
Yeah.
And
If you
here's
give me a
hoping.
second, I'll tell you how
Yeah,
much
yeah.
he made in a lifetime.
I remember he was like studying economics, so he's probably going to go corporate after this, not be like a commentator type. But he does have a good energy about him. If he wanted to like go into broadcasting, I wouldn't shock me. A guy like that. Anyway, we should move on while you're looking that up, Steve. I will also bring up our next topic, and you can just blurt out that number whenever. It was announced today that Netflix is doing their QB series. I believe they started in the preseason following these 4 quarterbacks around. And one of the quarterbacks will be Jaden Daniels this season. The NFL continues to really push the Washington Jaden Daniels stories in these. They did what Hard Knocks last year. They're doing this one now for Netflix this year. I assume that means we're not going to see a full-on Washington Hard Knocks off season or preseason if they're doing the quarterback thing. That'd be weird if they did one team for both. But
who knows?
if you have Netflix, you can watch 5 minutes of Jane Daniels, 5 minutes of Baker Mayfield, 5 minutes of Joe Flacco, and 5 minutes of Ward, and they'll call that a show. That's the
Okay,
plan.
so first of all, Taylor Heineke's lifetime. Would anybody care to guess what
I
Taylor
said
Heineke's
16
life?
was my
Okay,
guess, right?
Dave, do you have a stab
I'll
at it?
say 18,374,000.
Dave was remarkably close. According to overthecap.com, his career earnings were 18,919,852.
And
So
no, I
you were
did not look
within-
that up either. Wow.
Although
You were
didn't
within
Dave
about
say
600,000.
1800?
Yeah.
Look, so that's Heineke.
Yeah,
So he's
It's
made
great money. Good for him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
absolutely he's made generational wealth.
Right.
Look, I hate with the fire of 1,000 suns. Jaden Daniels participating in yet another media thing. He's in too many commercials. Now he's in some stupid Netflix thing. I think all it is a distraction. And yeah, make money, kid. Absolutely. I'm all for that part of it. But if it were me, and if I were the team, I would want him to do any of that stuff and focus only on, especially given what we saw last year.
Yeah.
Well, we know these teams hate all this stuff, right? Like that's pretty well public. If the coaches and the GMs had their way, none of these reality show things would happen. No more Hard Knocks. None of
This
this.
is just like what we saw with Chase Young.
Yep.
All of a sudden the guy was all over and a bunch of like that. Remember that like barbershop show, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And a
Was
ton of
that
commercials.
was that a LeBron show?
I don't know.
too?
I
I
don't
don't
remember what
remember.
it was,
Yeah.
but it was some like basically a sort of a live podcast thing kind of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my point is he all of a sudden started getting into a lot of those things, and football kind of fell by the wayside. And look, Jaden Daniels has something to prove.
He absolutely
Last year
does.
did not go well for him, and it wasn't just because of injuries.
Yeah.
And now I keep seeing him more and more like commercials, and now Netflix, and it
Right.
would really irritate me if I were the Washington coaching staff.
I
I'll be
need him
honest with
focused.
you.
I'm with you.
I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of these young upstart players, especially guys who could be faces of franchises, even the league. I think their first 3-4 years, they really shouldn't be touching anything outside of this game, regardless of how marketable that they are. I know you can't stop these guys from doing it. I mean, it's you can't do it contractually or anything like that.
You could do it contractually, in theory.
Yeah, but the players probably fight against
So
it.
contractually, they could. It's
Right.
not a part of the CBA contract, but I don't think any agent would agree to it.
No.
Right. Right. You
But
would have to.
I would do it in a heartbeat if I could
It,
somehow pull it off, and I was a
if the
team. Yeah,
owners wanted to put that in a CBA negotiation as part of
it
their
would be
thing,
really tough.
it would be tough. But like, I would back the owners on that one. I would be all in favor of them saying, "Hey, as part of a rookie deal, we're not putting you in these types of shows off the bat." Like, I don't know if you can say that. You definitely couldn't do advertising. I feel like the name, image, likeness stuff makes
No,
that
the
a,
name,
or
image, and likeness stuff has nothing whatsoever to do with the pros. Okay, that's a
that's
strict
true because it's a
contractual
different.
thing.
Yeah, okay,
It's
that's true.
totally different. That's college, and it has to do with whether they're employee. It has all kinds of stuff. So no, this is the straight business negotiations, and you could put in a contract theoretically, that while you're employed with this organization, you cannot take any paid outside work at all.
Right.
You
I
could
mean,
do that.
even
There are
if
many people that have that kind of provision in
Sure.
I mean,
employment contracts.
even if they come out to these players and say, listen, if you want to do this, here's your window from the Super Bowl until the start of the new league year.
Right.
That
I
is your
could see
window.
that. Yeah.
This is where you could do any of that because technically there's really no communication from the team and the players during this period of time, and or at least the younger players or the rookies and stuff like that. But it should be that one period of time where it's like, here's where you could do your commercials, here's where you could do your
Hmm.
series and your specials or whatever, and and then when you
It
get
sounds great
beyond
though.
that, oh, I know it
It
sounds
sounds great
great, but
though, but like the CBA, they can't even get the CBA to force these players to go to minicamp.
Right.
right.
And so now I am totally agree with you completely, Dave,
And actually, I think
about
it's a
it.
pretty good, reasonable
Yeah,
like
but I'm
window
telling you
thing.
right now, the players union would die
Right.
before they agreed to that.
Well, the players' union's going to fight you on anything, right? Like that's their job as a
Yeah, but
union. Yeah.
especially that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you, the owners turn around and say, well, we'll make sure that more guaranteed money in terms of your base salaries are done if you're or something along the lines where
Yeah,
there's more
but they're
money that'll go to the players in full guarantees. You know what I mean?
Well,
Or
that's
even
what.
add a
See, the
clause.
owners will never ever go for
right.
that
Right. Right.
ever.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
I
even.
mean,
That's a fantasy.
well, fine. I mean, they won't go
Well,
for
and
it,
you
then
want
you
to know
can't
why?
complain either.
Now, if you had fully guaranteed money, you couldn't have a 90-man off-season roster.
Right. Right.
That's the problem. Because then they'd be paying a ton of guaranteed money for players that aren't around. You'd have to basically limit the roster to 53, and even then, the owners are never going to
Well,
go for that.
You would
I'm
also
not
then
saying.
suddenly see a lot more 1-year contracts.
Well,
Yes,
I'm not saying fully guaranteed contracts to that
I'm
extent.
saying any a
I'm
dime.
saying I'm saying like entice them with a little more guaranteed money, basically saying stay away from here, stay here and do this, and you're part of this certain amount, X percentage of your base salary will be fully guaranteed
I mean, it
if you stay
sounds
away or something like that.
great. It's a total fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
They're never going to go for it.
I think we all agree in theory though it would be good if they did this whole like there was a window when you should do ads and uh
Yeah.
maybe keep first year, second year players out of that world. I think we all agree there.
I totally agree. And
Yeah.
again, this Jane Daniels thing is a perfect example. So, how much attention is he paying to Netflix now, and how little attention,
What does that
how much
draw?
less,
Yeah.
yeah, how much less attention is he now paying to things like studying Washington's playbook, getting to know his new teammates,
Sure.
learning, getting to know the new offensive coordinator,
The weird thing to me with these documentaries is they tend to. Jay Daniels is a star player, but he's not an interesting person in terms of like when you see him interviewed, when you see this kind of stuff with him, he's very chill, low key. Like he's not a TV personality
I mean, the
type.
guy's not, Tom Hanks, no,
He's
or
not.
whatever.
Well, I was gonna actually say he's not like RG3 who wants that spotlight all the time.
Well,
You know.
RG3, people might like him and all of that, and Washington fans don't, but
Mhm.
he's a pretty charismatic dude.
Right. But and he's built for being that TV guy.
Yes.
Right. I
Again,
don't think
Washington
Jay
fans, I
Daniels
think,
was.
to be honest, I think Washington fans have a jaded opinion of him and it wasn't totally his fault. some
No.
of it was his fault, but a lot of it wasn't. I think he gets kind of a little bit of a bad rap from Washington fans who think he's
Right,
the
but
spawn of
I
Satan
think
or
he's a
something.
perfect comp for that's the quarterback personality you want on these shows. You don't want, yeah, I'm gonna
But he
go
would
and
be the
I'm gonna,
exact opposite of what the team would have wanted him to do, especially
yeah,
him.
of course, yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
now in April, he did organize with some of his receivers to go meet out in L.A. So, I mean, at least
Daniels
he's not
did okay.
completely, yeah. So at least he's not completely walking away from the
Well,
game in
and
that sense, mentally wise.
I
So
think he's done that every year too. Like
he did that last year too. Yes.
yeah,
I mean, it's
that's his
good. That's
personality.
good. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying it's the end of the world. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But I would just rather the guy not do that.
sure.
Focus
Well, I
on
mean,
football.
it's perfectly reasonable of all positions to want your franchise potential franchise quarterback going into year 3 to keep all focus on the
Right.
team, especially now you have a new offensive coordinator coming forward. I mean, it's more than reasonable to want that.
Especially when he didn't do well last year
Right.
compared to
Right.
his rookie year.
And all the talk is it's a serious change to the offense this year.
Yeah.
In terms of play style, it's not this air raid gun system anymore. It's going to be pro style. So speaking of the offense and the changes, the rookie camp did happen this weekend. Uh,
So there was
couple
lots of interesting news out of the rookie camp.
not lots of interesting news, but some interesting tidbits came out
That
from
was
all the various
sarcasm.
good reporters. Yeah, I know. It the days of us getting great stuff out of these camps. Well, now that the Washington Post doesn't care to cover sports, we don't have as many good writers as we used to. Um, but I'm gonna go over some of the big things. Of course, Sonny Styles, big story, right? That's story number one. Everyone's focused on. By all accounts, played well. He really likes, at least publicly, he's saying he really likes this defensive scheme. He likes the new DC
What's he gonna
compared to
say? No, I think
right,
this guy's a jerk.
right. Of course, he said
What does this
he
guy think who does this guy think he is?
right. He said he feels like there's a lot of parallels between the Washington defensive coordinator and Matt Patricia, who he was being coached by before, which is good. Matt Patricia, not a great head coach, great coordinator, right?
Right.
That's what you want. uh,
A man
the,
with an unfortunate name.
yeah, yeah, it is a little bit. Um,
It's not as bad as Colson Yankoff, but
no. Yankoff is always going to be a tough one. Uh, by all accounts, Antonio Williams was really impressing people with his route running ability, like just how crisply he runs routes. Which the more I watch football, the more I realize how much coaches they don't care about speed; they care about route running way too much.
Well, I
Especially
mean,
coordinators, they want guys to do exactly what they want them to do.
oh yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get, I mean, if you run crisp, strong routes and get out of the breaks quick, I mean, you gain separation without even getting any burst of speed going,
Right?
especially when you get the corner spun around, and
Yeah.
okay,
that's that,
so
and that's what he does as a receiver.
being as how I'm the only one who's played receiver in a competitive situation in this group,
I
because I
wouldn't
was
say
a
that.
were you a receiver?
Yes, or wide
Oh, I didn't know
receiver and
you were.
corner. Yes.
Okay. I mean, so I thought you were, I don't know why I thought you were something else, but, and I was not a good one, but,
Oh, I'm right there with you on that one too.
yeah, I think what I learned is, it's not, raw, pure inline speed is important, but what
Right.
was more important was how fast and how crisply you could get in and out of your breaks and
Right.
how precisely you ran the routes. Because, guys like us, Dave, who aren't great athletes, you can't break on a dime. You round the corners,
Right.
your routes aren't precise. You get a guy like Antonio Williams or like Terry McLaurin, who's an expert route runner,
Right.
they could break on a dime. And that is probably more important than having Carl Lewis speed.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
would say. And so sounds like what you're getting at with Antonio Williams, Alex,
Oh yeah.
is that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
No,
didn't know you were receivers. Were you playing in the 5 foot and under league? Is that when you were the receiver, Dave?
Actually, well, no, even in high school, they still let me play in Pop Warner. So.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, look, if you watch if you go and watch a lot of what Williams did as a slot guy, there were a lot of those routes where he was like, you look like you're doing a slant, and then you cut back out, and that's where he changes guys up all the time.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of play personally.
And for those of you who heard, I think Kobe was emphasizing that he had heard as well that Antonio Williams is a tremendous route runner. If you heard
Right.
that, that's what Kobe was saying.
Yes.
He's been unusually vocal during this episode.
Well, hoochie squirrel.
It's been a combination of hoochie squirrels, and then the same golf cart drove by the house twice, and he hates golf carts for some reason I don't understand. He hates golf carts.
Kobe and I we're on the same page there. So
because I live in the suburbs, and so people have golf carts and they drive around for no reason in their golf cart.
Right. And
it's not in DC, and where if you live where Alex lived and have a golf cart, you get robbed. But I mean, that's.
Well, no. Everyone rides the e-bikes and the mopeds or motor scooters now. Which are like those are the urban version of.
I want to run them off the road.
Yeah, those are the urban version of the golf cart.
In my area, these kids are riding these e-bikes on the sidewalk at 20 miles an hour, and I just want to shove them off the sidewalk.
Yeah, no,
there's got to be some municipal regulation about e-bikes at some point.
Technically,
yeah, they shouldn't be on sidewalks.
Technically, it is a motorized vehicle, and it should be on the road.
Yes.
Actually, all bicycles are supposed to be on the road. That's the law.
So I don't think bicycles deserve to be on the road. Don't get me started. I have a whole rant about bikers.
All right, let's not get sidetracked on.
Because you're going to really get me going about that.
We have beautiful bike lanes that they obey and stay on, and we must be observant to.
Right. I hate the bike lanes more than anything.
I'm shocked that Steve in Texas hates bike lanes.
You're taking legitimate roadways away from actual vehicles that actually need to do stuff because of your dumb bikes. It really drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's what the horse people said about your cars back in the old days too.
Listen, cars are the future. Bikes are not the future. I got news for you.
I'm just saying. That they said horses were the future.
I want to run the bikers over on a daily basis. I scream at them out the window half the time.
My only issue with them will ever be if there's a stop light and a stop sign.
They go right through them.
You're supposed to obey that.
No, they don't. I mean, they think they don't.
By law they are.
Yes.
And that's where I get aggravated about it.
Yes.
But let's focus back in. Let's focus back in.
Get me on a rant.
So there were two names that I've seen in multiple articles about rookie camp that surprised people. One, rookie kicker Drew Stevens, who's a power leg. He looks like he might be he's definitely going to be competing for the starting kicking job, and it sounds like he might have an inside track to it right now.
I think it's too early to say that. I mean, yes, he has a strong leg, probably a stronger leg than Jake Moody. Right. But does he have an inside track? You can't possibly know that. We have to see him in training.
We don't know yet, but it's going to be an open competition by all accounts. It's not like it's one of those. Be. Yeah, it's not one of those.
What has Jake Moody earned? He hasn't earned anything.
Nothing. Yeah. Exactly. The other name that people seemed surprised by was Joshua Josephs.
Yep.
The edge rusher. He kind of fell to Washington. He was supposed to be more of like a day 2 guy. They got him in day 3. And I saw multiple beat writers say that he really impressed as far as his just edge rushing ability overall, speed, tenacity, everything. So, granted, he is going up against undrafted rookies in these drills, so like left tackles who probably won't even be in the UFL. But
I think the biggest thing that I've seen so far talked about with him is he has no wasted movement. He's very quick with his feet, and he seems to be very technically sound with his hands, which are a lot of things that he was kind of, I don't want to say criticized. Scout said that he showed inconsistency with. But if he can keep that going, I mean, you have a really nice depth piece for a rotational guy with with the guys you already have in place. But I think it's his footwork and his natural burst and speed out of even breaks when he's dropping back is what's I think it's what's really been eye popping for most right now to this point.
Yeah, yeah. And look, overall with these camps, obviously you're gonna hear mostly positive.
Yeah, sure, because they're all in
yeah.
shorts. Yeah,
Right. They're all in shorts. No one's getting hit. So a lot remains to be seen. I will say I saw that Dan Quinn had some very positive things to say about Dave's future adopted son, Katron Allen.
Yes.
Just who apparently goes by the nickname Fat Boy. I don't think we've covered that
Fat
on
Man.
the show.
You're
Man.
implying that Katron Allen doesn't have a father.
I'm saying Dave's honorarily adopting him, father or no father. That's what I'm saying.
It would be more accurate to say he would be his godfather someday. Isn't that better? Because you're implying that Katron Allen's dad is not around.
Well, so
we
here's the fun thing, though, Steve. Because his nickname is Fat Man, if he and Dave really started hanging out, we have a perfect tandem, Fat Man and Little Boy.
I was just thinking that, Fat Man and Little Boy. Man, that's a great.
Hey, man, I'm down with it. If it gets me to hang out with him for a bit, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. The ironic thing is, by NFL running back standards, Katron Allen's not fat. He's actually just a very normal sized running back.
Nah, that was a nickname he got when he was born, as that he had from his mom, and he's carried it ever since.
Right.
So,
and by the way,
there's a sentimental side to it.
For those of you who don't know the reference, it was actually a pretty dark reference that
Alex
was
a
making.
little bit dark. I'm sorry.
Because Fat Man and Little Boy are the names of the
history.
atomic bombs that were, I mean, that's what Fat Man and Little Boy is.
Yes.
Is the two bombs that was developed in the Manhattan Project.
I am sorry. I assumed
I wasn't even
everybody
thinking
knew
about that at all.
I was like, whoa.
I assume most people know American history. Maybe
I think
that's
you assume very wrongly. I think half the people couldn't even name the year that Civil War started, much less Fat Man and Little Boy.
God, we live in a stupid country.
We do. The other roster moves they made, by the way. So a couple things. They signed Drew Stevens because we knew before they were interested in him, but he wasn't signed. Now he's signed, and then they signed Antonio Hamilton, the corner, who was with Washington before.
Mm-hmm.
Now to me, this is, by my count, that's 91, and so something about my chart is off here. Because I'm counting 91 players, but they have signed those two players for sure. So.
Okay, so there might have been a release there that we don't know about or we haven't calculated in. They technically signed all their draft picks as well.
I got all that. I have all that figured into this.
And for those who care, they did give the draft pick numbers out. I don't remember them because I'm not a big numbers guy. Big uniform guy, not a numbers guy. I know.
I know it's 14 for Williams, and it was 52 for Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
I think
that's all I recall.
One of the things I care about less than uniforms is numbers.
Yes, I for whatever reason have never been a numbers person. I know there are guys out there who obsess about it.
Yeah,
unless it's number 28.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that we know that'll never be, so.
Right.
Or 21. Yeah. We can't have a 21 either.
No. Well, we keep retiring jerseys.
But I mean, look, if they don't retire any other jersey, just make sure nobody wears 21, especially him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, the only one would be Ryan Clark, and he's not playing anymore.
Right. Even if somehow Gabe Taylor made it all the way from being a backup in the UFL to the team,
maybe Gabe would be the. I don't know. He would be the other one. Yeah.
I would let him do it in practice. I don't know about in a game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean that's not a realistic.
No.
Shot at this point.
He's a backup for the DC Defenders. Because he's 5'9", 160. He's not a big guy.
So what I'm telling everybody here is before next week, I will figure out why I have 91.
Right.
And we will update it accordingly.
Right. Well, what's their official or close to available cap space now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we can do that.
Yeah,
So,
I know we want to do deeper dive on it later in
yeah,
the
I'm not
show,
going to
but
do that. So
yeah,
they're at about 42 million
yeah,
in remaining cap space under the rule of 51, because again they've signed all the draft picks. I'm missing a couple contracts, but they're going to be, basically eaten up by the rule of 51, and so think 42 million.
so plenty of money to sign two disgruntled wide receivers and possibly one of their brothers.
If they're dumb enough to do that, yes.
But one of
Yes.
them will be on this team. I'll guarantee you that.
Oh, I think so too. I still
Why don't you
think that.
tell everybody what we're talking about?
Yeah, Dave, you said you saw a rumor about Stefan Diggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Josh Taylor from Hogs Haven had mentioned that he had spoke with someone as a good source, and I know a lot of people get on Josh Taylor on a lot of things, but I
right.
mean he's actually been pretty good in terms of the rumors he breaks and everything. And also Rigo's Rag as well made mention to this that
Mm.
well and he apparently quoted Diggs saying, "I definitely want to shed some light on them and might go check them out for a little bit," in reference to Washington. So whatever he means by shed some light on them, whatever he means by
Yeah.
that, but whatever. But
Well,
it's looking more and more like that Stefan Diggs could wind up being a real serious option for this team. Now, when you look at, we talked about this last week too. When it comes to
yeah. We
the
talked about it a bit.
football, when you talk about the football production side and the football aspect of it, makes a ton of sense. It really does. I mean, even coming back from his ACL injury, he was still a very productive player. It's the other side of the spectrum is, are you sure you want to introduce to the locker room and to a young quarterback? So, but
Right.
that's what we're talking about with that.
I continue to maintain that Washington needs to stay away from diva princess receivers like this. I don't, he's a mess. I, I would want no part of it, man. I really wouldn't. Find
Uh,
somebody else who can play.
and I've kind of been there generally with you. I just don't. I mean, they failed miserably at getting a good receiver this offseason. Like Williams might turn out into something. I'll be thrilled. But I feel like they needed to get one big free agent, and they've just completely failed. Not all their fault either. A lot of them signed elsewhere, even though they were in the bidding. Anyway, that is a rumor that is going on.
Hopefully it
Um,
doesn't come true. And by the way,
hope.
our fourth cast member has worn himself out now, so.
Oh, good.
Very nice.
Some rumors that have become true. Washington will be playing in the UK game, the London game on 10/4. That is week 4 too, October 4th. So Washington will be playing the Colts there in London. Get your tickets, get your passports ready. Um, there's also a rumor that Dave saw leaked by the Giants beat writer for Bleacher Report saying that he said Thursday nights, week 10, Washington
Right.
will be playing the Giants.
Well, I would also point out that week 4 in the UK means their bye week is going to either be week 3 or week 5, probably week 5.
Yeah. Probably
That's
an
what
early
that
bye
means
week.
because they're
Yep.
not going to come back and
Right.
they're
The
going to get a
NFL
week off.
has at least been good about doing that, which I appreciate. Um, I also appreciate it because I love the daytime London games where then I just go to like a local British pub and get like fish and chips for breakfast and go nuts.
We
It's
on the
all fun.
Hogsty are pro daytime games. We are not
Yes,
pro. We're pro as early as possible daytime. We are anti night game.
right. As a general rule, because
Yes.
we're just getting older.
None of us want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
We've done many shows before Dave. We've done many shows in the middle
That
of the
were super
night.
late. Yep.
Yeah, in my garage and
Right.
all kinds of stuff.
All always losses too because it
Yeah,
was
they always
Washington
got
in prime
crushed.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consider the error, you know.
Yes. Uh, so last topic, and then we got to get to position group breakdown. It was announced by the DC Metro Authority, WMATA, as we like to call it in DC, that they've done their research into building a new second metro station by RFK Stadium site when this team moves. And they said it's not going to be worth it to build a second station. it would cost roughly $1 billion, by the way, which is insane.
Wow.
And then instead, what they're proposing is a much more reasonably priced building an express bus line that would go from Union Station to the RFK site for getting public transit in and out faster for people.
Okay, but so first of all, what I remember is that the one metro stop was the DC Armory site, right?
Correct.
And it had a
Correct.
bunch of different lines going through that one stop. And so it
Yes,
sounds like what you're saying
There's
is
3 lines going through that stop.
there
Yes.
may be another line going through that same station now, maybe later, but it's going to be that same. They're not going to build another station. It's going to be the DC Armory stop.
So they're not building another station on those same 3 lines because, okay, so I'll get into the nitty gritty.
Like orange and yellow and I can't remember what the other
it's my neighborhood and I go through this every day. Blue, orange, silver all go right by the stadium at that DC Armory stop. It's 3 blocks away from the actual stadium. The idea that the mayor and I don't remember who else was pitching this, was build a second station also by the stadium on those same 3 lines because there's only one train line over there. The problem is when they start breaking this down, they're like, oh, if we want to do this, it's actually got to be built further away from the stadium just because of where the lines go, and it's going to cost $1 billion.
Well,
So
and also
why
let's
do
be realistic and understand that stop will really only be used one day a week for 8 or 9 weeks a year.
Right. Well, let's bump it up even to 20 for concerts.
Okay, fair, fine, but it's not like it's downtown DC.
No.
My point. Now, I also think what I remember, I haven't lived in DC in a long time and all of that, but what I remember is that the metro is very crowded. The bus is probably less so.
Yes, generally speaking.
Right. And so in that respect, it's not going to be nearly as useful to increase bus traffic. How I forget what you said, or they build
so
another
what they're
bus stop.
talking about is building a bus express line from Union Station, which is a different train line altogether. It's the red line, and that would be an express line going right to the stadium.
Yeah, but
they're calling it the Gold Line.
Average people are going to ride the metro,
right?
And average people aren't necessarily going to ride a bus,
right? But if it's a free shuttle and it gets you to your yeah, it's just another way to get people in and out that will help with crowding. That's the proposal. I mean, look, in a perfect world, you build a whole nother train line that goes there. And
am I wrong, Alex, in thinking they never did fix the fact that there isn't a great stop at FedEx Field either? Because when I was there,
the nearest stop is like 1.5 miles away.
It was like across the street at the Cap Center. I don't know what the Cap Center is anymore, but it was way over there.
It's now a strip mall.
Okay, well, it was right over there somewhere, right?
It wasn't even close to the Cap Center.
No.
Yeah. You had to cross over the Beltway on a footbridge to get to FedEx Field.
Yeah, things sure to go wrong.
Right. And when I say footbridge, I don't mean like they strung up like chains Indiana Jones style, just to be clear.
No. That would be probably illegal to do over an interstate highway, but yeah.
It would be funny if that was the way. That would be the Dan Snyder way, cheap as possible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because he would be blowing all his money on prostitutes on boats. So yes.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to lose that prostitute boat money on a bridge. That's just silly.
Why build a bridge?
Right.
And so I on one hand, I think they probably do need another closer metro stop to where the new stadium will be. On the other hand, I can kind of understand why they don't want to, because it's really, frankly, not that useful.
It's not useful, and just that price point is insane.
That's what I mean. I mean, the efficiency of the dollars.
Right.
Fine, give it 20 a year, 20 events a year, fine. I mean, still, that's not. Downtown stops are used extensively every day.
Right.
And that's not what it would be.
Right. That stop is used heavily by the local residents right now.
The DC Armory stop.
Yeah, because there's houses all over there.
Right.
But that's really it. There's no main strip right now, so I get it. But if you were to in theory pie in the sky it, you would say let's build a whole nother train line maybe that goes through a different part of the city and has a stop there too.
If you want to get money from Never Never Land, sure.
Right. That is a $20 billion idea.
Absolutely.
But that would be the
and
right
if
way to
DC
do it.
is like many other cities,
They don't have $20 billion.
they ain't got
around.
$20 billion sitting around anywhere, and
Not
even
right
the
now.
federal government doesn't want to give that money out.
No. They didn't. They spent $18 billion to build a line to Dulles that nobody in Virginia uses because Virginians all are too.
They drive.
Yeah, they're too hoity-toity to take a metro, and it's also a 90-minute train ride.
Look, I lived in Maryland the last time I lived in DC, and right. I routinely took the metro in from Maryland.
Right.
Down to when I was going down, it's just easier. But yeah, people in Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Kobe just spoke up about it. He's aware that his opinion is the rich folks out there in Virginia aren't going to ride the metro.
Right.
That's what Kobe's saying.
Right. How could they with all the gold in their pockets from their government contracts and their Beltway banditry? Yes. All right. So no metro. No extra metro. Sorry for all you people who really, really just wanted a second stop for no reason. All right. Let's move on. Guards and centers time, Dave.
All right.
I don't know why we stuck Dave with the O-line.
No, we didn't stick Dave with the O-line. For the record, Dave volunteered for the O-line. I sent this out and said, you guys pick.
Right.
Nobody dictated.
I've done the O-line ever since I've been doing it. I've been doing the O-line ever since. So.
All right.
But I did not dictate anybody select anything.
I always, the rule is.
I always throw you down with kickers because I know you're going to take the kickers.
Right. Well, I mean, also I'll say whatever no one takes, just give me a couple.
Yes, and I usually take the quarterbacks because I just want to do the quarterbacks.
Well, Steve, we also had to be honest. You also doubled my salary for doing O-line too.
I did. Yes, I did.
I mean, a lot of these guys here on the outside don't know that, you know?
Right.
You deserve it, though, Dave.
Right. In fact, Steve, let's triple his salary right now. Executive decision.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I have the votes. The percentages, Alex. Look, your salary's now tripled, Dave.
There we go.
Get another
I appreciate
cheeseburger.
that, guys.
Go get a cheeseburger.
All right. So guards and center. Now although I have Nick Allegretti on here listed as 23 years old, I'm pretty sure that 23 years old goes to the Matt Gubin, who I have listed as 30 years old on here.
Dave, did your spreadsheet get screwed up a little bit?
No, I looked at this and I'm just like, wow.
Well, and it's also partly my fault for not noticing that because I think I probably glazed over that part of it. That's also my fault. Yeah.
So
it was late on a Tuesday night. I reviewed that.
All right, so let's start with Glublin.
Can you start with the rookie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, he's 6'4", 310, age 23. Drafted in the 6th round, 209th overall. This pick I like a lot. I think he's a bit of a developmental center, but I think he's kind of pro ready at the same time, if that makes any sense. I think he definitely has a track to become the future for this team. And when you go over a scouting report to say he's a tough, technically sound interior offensive lineman. He's very strong at the point of attack, anchors very, very well, and his versatility in terms of playing guard and center is prevalent. He did that all throughout college. Now he is only an average athlete. He's very limited on his lateral movement at times. He can be pretty stiff, but he's definitely a guy that's projected to be a guy that can be a starting center in this league. And I was actually surprised he made it down to the 6th round, to be honest with you.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend I can look at a center's film and see anything anybody else can't see. But what I've read about him is partly what you said, which is that the guy might have starting potential. Developmental, meaning that it's going to take him a while to get there. But in terms of 6th round pick, pretty good pick because he has at least the potential to be a starter, and that's pretty rare at that level in the draft. And so in that regard, I think he was a good pick, especially since who the heck knows what they have
Yeah.
in Alcredi, you
Right.
know.
Right. Well, I'm not saying this to bash him. I do have concerns just the size, because he's 6'4", which is a bit tall
I
for a
think you're
center.
saying that just to bash him, is what I think.
Yeah. Okay, you guys know I'm very, very obsessed with short centers. That's my thing. Centers should never be too tall because the quarterback's got to see over them.
Centers and with short centers and kickers from foreign countries. That's who
No,
you're
no, no.
obsessed with.
I'm an American kicker guy. You take that back.
That's what I mean. You're obsessed with the foreign country guys.
But
Racist.
yeah, he is on the tall side for a center in the NFL. In all seriousness, at 6'4", like you want your centers to be a little shorter, but it can work. I'm not saying it can't. Uh, it is interesting. I feel like the last few centers Washington has had luck with are guys they drafted later and took a year or two to develop, and they became
Well, I
solid
think
starters
that's
for a
pretty
while.
common with centers. Now,
Yeah,
when I
Yeah.
did my draft analysis, it was way too much brain damage for me to break it out just to just
right.
centers, so I didn't do that. So
No,
I don't have a statistical basis for that, but it seems to me that a lot of centers,
if we go
that's
with our
one position
guts
that,
as fans, yeah,
yes,
centers develop pretty well.
there's a limit to
Right.
even how much brain damage even I'm willing to do and things like
Right,
month-long statistical analysis.
right. Totally fair. All right, let's move it along then. Who's next?
Oh, we have our projected starting center, Nick Algretti. We know we know this guy. Now, the only thing that kind of concerns me are two things. One, he's very limited on his career as a center. A total of 78 total career snaps as a center
Hmm.
since 2023, I do believe it was. And last year, when you look at his limited, very inconsistent performance last year, he allowed one sack off of 8 pressures, and he was only on about 260 offensive snaps. So, and it's I don't know. I'm not real confident in him being a center. Although, I mean, the team seems to be pretty high on him. I mean, he is a pretty agile center. He is pretty athletic. So maybe it's what Blau sees for his offense being having a more athletic center. But then that's kind of an adverse to what you drafted too at the same time. So
I don't think Blah sees very much of anything. Blau might, yes.
Blau might Blau
Yeah,
he might see a few
Nothing.
things.
I don't know who he is, honestly. Who are you referring to? Uh, yeah, I mean, look, we'll see what happens to Algretti. If he's there to kind of hold it down for a year or two, well, they develop a prospect. Who knows?
I don't really
That's
get
fine.
it with Algredi, to be honest. I mean, far be it for me to tell the coaching staff who's a good center or not, but I don't
Right.
get it.
Well,
Right.
and I think we all know that the change they made, the roster move that they made early on, was kind of the first real head scratcher. But their arguments, kind that we've heard that it's kind of been consistently, we just felt like we were paying too much for not enough production out of the guy they had last year. So I wish they had maybe addressed it maybe in free agency a little bit. It'd be nice to have one more solid backup center that you could go to. But this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep rolling.
All right, so Sam Cosmi, we all know this guy. He's been a stalwart at this position for us. Once he came back from ACL injury, he got off to a bit of a slower start, was recovery still, but he finished the year with 545 total offensive snaps, 11 pressures, and 2 sacks. He's a very athletic guard, and he's definitely a cornerstone for this offense going forward. He was probably one of the most consistent offensive linemen as a whole that we had all year last year.
Steve?
Anything, Steve?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
obsessed currently trying to figure out why I'm off a person on my roster chart, to be perfectly honest. It's bugging me.
Yeah. All right, let's
right.
keep going then.
Okay, so now for what's projected the left guard position, obviously Brandon Coleman got the first shot last year. He's at 6'6", 320, age 25, of course. Now he only saw 390 offensive snaps last year, and at the time he allowed 11 pressures and 0 sacks. So pass protection, he was pretty strong last year. His problem was against the run. He's very heavy footed, and has struggled against power rushers most of the year, which is why he ultimately lost his job to Chris Paul. Now,
Right.
Chris Paul, who is going into his 5th year, he's a 7th round pick of 2022. Now, he logged 926 offensive snaps last year, allowing 17 pressures, 2 sacks. Yeah, he was excellent in pass coverage. Now, granted, he also wasn't great in run blocking, but he was definitely an improvement over what Brandon Coleman brought. He's not an overly athletic guy, but he's a very strong lineman with very, very good contact balance itself. So he's a guy that I think will definitely push Coleman this offseason for that starting spot, and I would not be surprised if he enters week 1 as a starter.
Well, I'll tell you, I actually kind of like both quite a bit. I think it was interesting how they kind of swapped them out at that one point. It was a very short leash they had for Coleman there. Even though I didn't think he played too poorly at guard. I'll be curious to see with him if he now knows this is my spot and he can focus on one position, not moving around all as much as he was.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, it would really help, right?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
The only real big struggles he had last year was run blocking. He was constantly being pushed into the running back slot most of his starts. So, and that's a problem right there. And then once he got swapped out, the run game started performing much better through the interior. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, he's a bigger guy, so that leverage thing is a little tougher when you're a taller guy. So I'm not totally shocked by that. I mean, look, I think even though they're going to keep him at guard, it sounds like I think Coleman's build is that of a tackle, and that's part of the problem.
He's got the size of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't shown he could be good at that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's part of it, a big part of it.
I mean, a lot of people have the size. You got to actually be good.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, on this list, I did include Andrew Wiley. I think he is a guy that's going to be kind of the utility guy along this line, both tackles and guards. He's not great, but he's not terrible. But I think he will add more of a swing tackle for this team than he will so for the guard side. But he is an option. He's got that versatility. He has 40 total career starts as guards. So, I mean, he's got the experience because when you go beyond him, you have Julian Good-Jones, who they got off the practice squad from the Eagles in 2023, has had zero career starts. You have Tyler Cooper, who signed a futures contract this year, age 25. You have Timothy McKay, who also signed a futures contract this year, age 24. And these two guys are very much so developmental players, and probably certainly to hit the practice squad at the season. And you got the long shot, raw talent upside in Tanoa Tagia at 6'6", 307 pounds at age 24. And he was also signed off the Eagles practice squad from 2023 as well. So, and he's a physically imposing interior lineman who has great size, raw strength, and power. He does have pretty good lateral movement, so he's an intriguing player. I'm not sure where he would fit on the team, even as far as the practice squad, but he's an intriguing guy to watch.
I mean, you never know about the practice squad. Who knows?
Right. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, look, they have a lot of good players here in the interior line overall. Cosme at one point was a star. I don't know if he's going to be that ever again after that injury he had. Like, I feel like his play kind of maybe leveling off at this point.
I'll tell you what, I think Cosme. Don't forget what an enormous contract this guy has.
Yeah.
He's got a 4-year, $74 million contract. He's
Mhm.
got a $20 million cap hit this year,
Yep.
$27 million of dead cap. Next year it changes completely. A $20 million cap hit, but $8 million in dead cap. And so I don't know how he's worth that much money. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. And
He was a Pro Bowler when they did it. Like
yeah, but I mean, if
yeah,
anybody's gonna go, it's be him because of contractual reasons.
long term, yes, but
Long term, right? Long
yeah.
term,
I mean,
not
and I'm
this
not
year.
saying he's a bad player. He's a very good player when he's out there and healthy. Uh, but I really like their depth overall on the interior. You've got four guys who I'm very comfortable seeing out there as starters any game at guard, at least. The center is going to be a question mark till we see it happen. But
Right.
I really like that quad of guards there.
Man, it's
All right,
bugging me.
Steve is deep diving, man. Like like he's got the deep research face going. It's a fascinating thing.
Because something either my spread, it's
Either
just
you're
it let me
wrong or the
be.
team's breaking a rule.
Yes.
um, yeah. So anyway, Dave, that was it. That we don't have any more
Yeah,
real. I
that's
know
it.
they're okay. Uh, all right. Well, great. Thank you, Dave, for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
I
why
try
don't?
not to be as long-winded this time.
Yes.
And
You
Yes.
did
so I
You're
don't
good.
get
You
learning.
did
Steve go,
good.
just so I don't get Steve go there with his finger going like this and
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
motion right there. It's like, come on, time.
Well,
I didn't
we
have to
we
do that this time.
we
No, you
don't
did not.
need 8 minutes on Julian Good Jones.
No,
Like
correct.
that.
Only Mr. and Mrs. Jones would want that,
Right. Right.
and
And
they
And you
look,
know
know
you
that
bring, you know
even
what,
they might not.
you know what, you bring up a good point. Let's go back, start at Julia at Good Jones, and we'll go through the rest of the guys real quick. Give them their moment.
all right. All
I
right. Just
still
read off
got
the
it at
names.
I still got it at 91 players on the roster. Something is off here.
Just read off the names real quick there, Dave.
Oh no, I did already. We're good. I already did all that. They're good. Now, are you sure you didn't double up a name, Steve? Is that possible?
I am sure. And my spreadsheet automatically counts the numbers, and so I know I have 91 players listed here.
Right. Uh yeah, you didn't hear they cut Jaden Daniels. That's what it is.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, we actually are at time anyway on the show, so we can depart and let Steve pour over this for the rest of the
God,
night.
it's gonna
Uh,
bug me forever. It will.
it will. Until you figure it out, it will. And then you'll figure it out and you'll be so happy and so annoyed at the
But
same
I see
time.
I went through the entire roster while I was trying to talk,
Right.
and I still and doing two things at once. I couldn't find it.
Right. Right. All right.
Oh
Well,
man.
we'll end the show and you can just focus on the one thing. So let's wrap it up, guys. Good to talk to you. We will see you all on the next week.
Later.